Yo, shout out my boy Takashi69, about to go 10 for 10 on Billboard. You stupid.
Stupid.
This is the A&J Podcast, episode 2. Sorry for the long hiatus. We've been a little bit busy.
Yeah, people been taking vacations.
Yeah, people been going places. I went to Mexico. Had a good time.
Mexico, bro?
It was good, bro. I had some good tacos. Clubbing was cool.
That's it?
Had a good time, bro. Had a good time. Oh. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, okay.
But we here, we rocking, we rolling. Episode 2. We out here.
Lit.
So what's good? What's good?
Not much,
What's
man.
on your mind, man?
Working, bro.
Working. I'm working
Working,
too.
slaving away, man.
Slaving that rat race, bro. 9 to 5.
Every day, man.
Slave life. I think one thing we gotta talk about before we start going, we gotta talk about Mac Miller.
Rest in peace, man.
Rest in peace, Mac Miller.
That was it was crazy news, man. Like,
yeah, man. 2018 has been taking a lot of good artists, man, and
it's sad that you see people like this that are struggling on the inside and they really don't show it.
Yeah.
So I think this is a good time to like start to tell, like, and for people to be aware that if you have friends or anything like that are struggling, please do your best to get to know them and understand what their inner struggles are, because everyone has those. Yeah. And it's a red flag for all of us to see this, and I think it's a good lesson for us to be more aware of, you know, what's going on in our surroundings. Like, if my boy over here had a problem, I'd do anything in my power possible to fix it. You know?
Yeah, that's a fact, man. So I think it's important to just remember that, you know, life, you know, can't take life for granted. Every day is a blessing. Tomorrow's not promised. And if you got somebody that you care about, you love, don't be afraid to tell them you love them. And if you got somebody you haven't talked to in a while that you care about and you want to, you know, just reach out and make sure they're good, you know, physically, mentally, spiritually. Just do it, man. Life's too short to be
be worried about like the little things, man. Because every little thing is always gonna turn around and be better, and it's all short term. At the end of the day, things are gonna happen, and you know you have to learn how to like go through life handling these things, and you need to be able to communicate when you need to communicate to someone and tell them that you need help. Not only that, as a friend, you should be able to identify when your friends are feeling this way. So I think that's a big key thing that we need to start focusing on as a generation. I know we're speaking beyond what
we gonna talk about. We're gonna get into it.
Yeah, but first, how was Mexico?
Bro, it was lit, bro. We already discussed it. It was lit, bro.
Nah, bro, I want to hear stories, bro.
Mexico was lit. I didn't just go to Mexico, bro. I crossed the border. That was fun.
No, I heard you over there.
I had to run, like, it was mad sus crossing the border.
Jumping borders and stuff, bro.
You gotta do what you gotta do, bro. It's not trying to wait 3 hours to get back into the States, bro.
That's crazy, B.
Bro, all I ate was Mexican food for like 3 or 4 days, bro. My stomach by week 4, bro.
Week 4? You was there for 4 weeks? Dang, bro, you didn't even tell me, son.
It was a good time, bro. My stomach by...
That's how good it was. He thought he was there for 4 weeks.
Pretty much. By day 4, bro, I couldn't have any more Mexican food, bro. I had to, like, take a day off or 2. Then I came back into it. But, it was a good time, bro. I had fun. I went to LA, Dodger Stadium. That was pretty cool. San Diego was very dope. I had a good time there. Yeah. It was dope.
Shout out to LA for showing New Yorkers some love over here.
Nah, it was a good time, bro. Yeah, let's just get right into these stocks, bro.
Yeah, so we want to recap a little bit about what we talked about last time. So my 2 stocks from the last week were P for Pandora and WTI, which is an oil stock.
Mm-hmm.
So let me go over Pandora first. So basically, with Pandora, we saw a lot of fluctuations, up and down. Not really any major movement, but so I invested in it for a while, and then I had my price points. What I was doing, I was following those fluctuations. So I would see that every morning, the price would jump, and that would be when I would sell. And then the next day, when the price would go down, I would buy again. So it was a pattern that was showing consistently. And I would end up buying at, 880, 870, around there, the 870s. And then I would end up selling around like the 890s, right? So, and actually before that, I bought when it fell, right after earnings, and I had owned, I bought it at 776, and it actually went up all the way to 8. It actually went up even higher than that. It went up to 937. It's high. So I think the biggest lesson for us to look at with this stock is that you had to follow the fluctuations and really see and set your price points and not be greedy. That was something that I did, and I was able to make out at a good price. But the thing is, this stock surprised me really, really, really well, because I saw that it was supposed to go up, or it was. I kept seeing these fluctuations from like the mid 8, the 810s, and then one day, all of a sudden, it went to where I was hoping, like 825, and that was what I was looking to sell. Like I had set my sell point to be at 825, and it sold. And then the day kept on going, and by the end of the day, it was at like 840, 850, and the next thing you know, it went up to 937, and I was like so upset that I had to jump back in when I saw it like sort of normalize again. But this was actually a really good start, and right now it's currently down again. But in actuality, the whole market is down at this point.
Yeah, the past 2 weeks, the market's just kind of like it's been going down steady but slowly. It's been going down.
Yeah,
a lot of it has to do with
the tariffs that are going on right now. So there's current negotiations between China and the United States. I heard today that Trump wanted to impose $286 billion worth of tariffs on China for all their products. And one stock that is going to be extremely affected by this is actually Apple. Apple is going to be affected like 100%. They listed all of their products, and they actually put online a list of all of the products that would be affected by the tariffs. And that's not a good look for them at this point. But I think Apple will always have the benefit of the doubt, because they're always innovating new products. They're always coming out with new things. And we see a lot of and especially now, this next week or so, they're supposed to start coming out.
It's Apple season. Bro.
Yeah.
It's about to be, I think they're going to announce iPhone XS.
Yeah.
They're probably going to announce the next the Apple Watch. That should be pretty dope. So I own Apple, and I know these tariffs could be a little scary, but
we both own Apple.
Yeah,
don't get it twisted, bro.
I'm not trying to get it twisted, but you the one who be selling and trading Apple consistently.
Yeah, because it has a constant pattern as well, and that's the thing. I bought Apple right around the times before earnings, and I did make around 30, or not even 30. It was less than that. It was, I think, what was that? I bought it 211, 215, something like that, and then We bought it at earnings. It was like around the 200s, right?
Nah, I know. I bought Apple at 174.
Yeah, but that was back. That was like
See?
two
But
earnings. That was two earnings
I
ago.
held it.
Yeah, but
and
see,
I got all those gains.
What I did, see, my thing was, I didn't hold Apple. When the last earnings happened, I bought it at the same price that he bought it, like 170, 180, 175.
I got it at 174.
Yeah, I bought it. We literally bought it the same day, so we probably were like a few cents off of each other. But after earnings, it went up to I think 190, and this was two earnings ago. So.
Yeah.
It went up to 190, and I, from my personal, like, you know, the way I like to trade, I saw that it consolidated at 190, and it wasn't fluctuating, it wasn't doing anything. So my thinking was, why am I gonna let $190 just sit there and not be invested in something that's moving up? It's just something that's staying there. It's stagnant. Yeah, exactly.
I understand your approach.
Yeah, so
and everybody has a different approach.
Yeah, so I sold it, but then I think I jumped back on it at 190.91, and then from 191 it actually went up to 215, and I sold it again, and that was right after earnings. This last earnings that I had, that was when Apple was supposed to be, apparently considered $1 trillion company.
Yeah.
And that was like the day when it happened, and I think a few days after that it fell. So I sold and I made my profit, but then I saw that it started coming back up, and I bought again at 220, and then I did make another profit because it went up from 220 to like 227, and I sold it. I had 2 shares. I sold one, and I kept one. At that point, the last share that I bought, today that news came out about these tariffs that happened, and we saw this issue with the stock just falling down. Like at the end of the market, at the end of the day, it literally shot down $5-6. And at that point, I set my stop loss, and I broke even exactly on it. So actually, I think I made like 10 cents on it.
Nah, what I'm gonna do, like I'm a firm believer in Apple right now, and I think I honestly feel like no matter what happens, it's a good long term stock to hold. But honestly, I am gonna set like a stop loss, probably maybe 205s, just to lock in profit, because I have made like over, I think, like $57 just on a share or two. So I definitely want to lock in those profits, especially when the market is kind of like fluctuating.
It's very, very volatile.
Yeah, being very volatile. I could use that extra buying power by selling it to invest in other things and to go ahead and make some more profit in a volatile market.
Yeah.
So what was the second stock? WTI. Recap last time.
WTI did pretty good as well. It actually hit one of its highest highs of $9.12. Actually, I think that was the last time. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. That was the last time that we talked. But it didn't do so good, to be honest. Now that I'm looking at it, it had a few good days, and then it just died. It really died. But that's the thing with this stock, is that it's very unpredictable. It goes a lot. It kind of follows /NG, which is natural gas futures, and it's sort of you have to be very cautious when you trade this stock. But it actually did. There was a reversal around August, 17th, and it looks like it started to do really well, but then again it fell. So this is a stock where you have to just know what you're getting into, and it's not one that I actually stopped investing in this. because I saw its highest potential when it hit 912, and it hit 912 around the time, and the other thing is that when it hit 912, it was actually matching or getting very close to a previous resistance, and that was a perfect opportunity to get out. And so I analyzed the stock and I saw that it had broken its support. It went below its support, and for me, when something goes below its support, that's not a stock that I'm interested in trading in. And it still hasn't regained. It hasn't gone back to that level where I feel comfortable trading in. It's not in between its support or its resistance. So for me, it's not a stock that I'm looking at right now. So yeah. So you want to recap the stocks that you talked about? Or
yeah, I'm down. Let's do it.
All right.
So basically, my two stocks from the last podcast. First of all, if you haven't watched the last podcast, definitely check that out. Maybe a little bit outdated, but it'll be funny. So it's definitely something that's cool to check out and fun, and just, I mean, one of the goals with this podcast is to just see our growth as traders and to try to just enlighten other people about trading and just feeling confident and just jumping in the stock market, being able to ask those questions as we're learning on the go.
Yeah,
and we want you guys to join this journey with us. You know what I mean? So both of us are not gonna be perfect. We're not experts.
we're gonna make mistakes.
We're both gonna make mistakes. We're both we're both gonna succeed at the end of the day. I firmly believe that. But I think when we look back at these early episodes, we're gonna be like, yo, we were really raw and we were really learning.
Yeah.
And it's after a couple months or so, you're gonna see that we've improved, and hopefully you guys, if you guys follow us, you guys get interested in stocks and things like that, you guys can pick up some things and take initiative and start growing and learning with us. That's one of the goals of this podcast.
Yeah.
So one of the stocks that I called out in the last podcast was Canada Goose, and my whole thing with Canada Goose is since it became available as a stock, I was a fan of it, and I just going back to the Cuse days and seeing all the girls wearing Canada Goose and just not even knowing what the hell it was, but seeing how poppin' it was, I was like, yo, this is this is something that I want to invest in. But so I invested in it right away. It did pretty well. But if we talk about how it's done the past month, it's pretty much been stagnant in a sense. Not necessarily. If we look at the price of the last podcast to where it's at now, it's pretty much in the same price range, but it has gone up throughout the past couple weeks. So if you did a good job in setting a stop loss or pinpointing when you wanted to buy and sell Goose, Canada Goose, it reached a high of, I remember it was in the 60s. Let me just double check and confirm that. It's at 55.90 right now, but it reached a high of about 60. Yeah, pretty much hit a high of 60, and it kind of just reversed back down.
I think that was right after earnings.
Yeah, so earnings played a role in it.
Dying a little bit,
but I still think it's a quality stock. And like I said, if you set your stop losses and you made a good entry point, you definitely could have made a good amount of money there. So I still think Canada Goose is a good stock to invest in, something that I still own, something that I'm hopefully once I get more buying power, something that I could put more money into and just pinpoint good times to invest in it. So right now probably it's still selling off, so you might want to wait a little bit. I could definitely see it going down a little bit more to maybe lower 50s, but I definitely think Canada Goose is a solid stock. And the second stock I talked about was Square. So I was definitely an idiot when I was talking about Square because I thought Square was actually Squarespace, and it's not Squarespace. Squarespace is something else, but it's totally different. But this is something that you could think about where you actually don't even know. Sometimes you don't even need to know what the hell the company is to trade and invest in it. If you analyze charts and patterns, like sometimes you don't even need like all that extra information on what the company is.
If it's a good pattern and you see that it's consistently making higher highs, or you see that there's a pattern that shows where there's a good support and a good resistance, and it's constantly touching each one, that's a perfect type of stock to go in and buy when it's at the support, and then sell when it's at the resistance. And those are not the type of stocks that you want to be greedy with. So that's a lesson that we've learned, and something that I've actually learned a lot with. So I actually have a few stories to tell, but I can go into it later detail. Go ahead, keep
going. So Square's actually done pretty good since the last podcast. So if we look a week, when I was talking about Square, it was about like 60. I think it was in the high 60s. So it was about $67, $68, and over a month, it's risen up pretty good. It's at close to $90 right now. So Square is definitely a stock that it's definitely overbought right now, but it's a stock that's gaining a lot of traction, and a lot of people are talking about it. And I think it has some more potential to maybe go up. I'd be maybe a little bit cautious since it's gone up so much over the past couple months. I could definitely see it leveling out eventually to maybe somewhere in the 70s, maybe mid 70s.
So
I can see it ranging out.
Yeah. So one thing, like looking at the chart for Square, we see that the RSI, which is the what is it? Something strength indicator.
Is it like resistance strength indicators?
No,
I don't. It doesn't matter. Pretty much, yeah.
The RSI, the way that it works is, it shows you that, what the strength of this stock is at a certain point in time. So, it's relative strength indicator. Now that we look at it, so just have like a mind blank. But it's showing because of like the recent, issues with the market in China and all the stuff that's going on. The strength for the stock actually fell. So this is actually a good indicator to look at when you want to jump into a stock. If you see that the RSI is above 70%, I would never, like, in my opinion, I wouldn't touch it, because at that point, and you see from previous times, from history, anytime it's above, it always falls, and when it falls hard, and then these issues that happen, you can lose a lot of money. So it's always good to look at the RSI, especially on something that's uptrending. And you don't really have anything to, like, any previous support or any previous resistance to compare it to. Yeah. So RSI is always a good thing to look at. It's a good indicator. Yeah. So we can see that it fell the last few days because of like all these tariffs and stuff that's been going on. And it's really making I believe that it's a good time to buy Square, and it would be a perfect time to sell once it becomes to a level of overbought, because you do see that consistent pattern going up and down, up and down.
Yeah, I think one thing that makes it tough is the fluctuation in the market, dealing with the tariffs and all that. Yeah. It kind of like it's like a blip in the radar where it's like it's an outlier, and it's kind of like we're not too sure exactly if signs of it being sold off or going down is actually because of the stock itself or because of the market in general. Yeah. You know what I mean? So for me, I think since I have Square at 89, what I would do is I would set a stop loss. If you were to buy it within the next couple of days, is I would set a stop loss around it depends on how much you're trying to cut losses with. But I'd maybe set a stop loss for like just a couple dollars. So if it's at 89, maybe 85 would be a good stop loss.
Yeah.
And then I still think though that it has a good margin for profit, and it's making new highs. So
if you look at it, it's uptrending. It's been uptrending, and it's something that will continue to uptrend, especially if you do your research with this company. They're extremely innovative. They're extremely well-rounded, and they're doing a very good job with what their company is about. And if you haven't heard of Square, basically Square is just like a Square Cash. So, if you ever paid at like one of those vans that cook on the side of the road, and they cook in the van.
Like a truck. Food trucks.
Exactly.
Yep.
So if you ever paid at one of those food trucks, usually they have Square, and that's how that's like one way to pay for food. So they're coming up with different innovative ways to pay for different services, and also they have like services like PayPal where you can pay your friends and stuff like that. But this is actually a competitor of PayPal. But yeah.
Yeah, I guess we could go right into our stocks for this upcoming week. We'll make it short. I know one of the things I wanted to talk about was Twitter. So I know Twitter, and it had sort of a sell-off a little bit before the market started fluctuating. So I think it's getting like a double whammy right now. Mm-hmm. So Twitter was like in the mid 40s a couple weeks ago, and it's just kind of like it's really took a hit, and it's down in I believe it's at $30 right now. Yeah. And I think just based off of previous like support and resistance levels, I could definitely see Twitter going down a little bit more to the like $25, $26 range, and I think that's a perfect time to seriously start thinking about investing in it, because it does have a lot of margin to recover. So I'm just going strictly based off of previous patterns. If I see Twitter, going down more under 30, it enters a price range that I like. 26, I think, is a solid price range. I'll probably invest a little bit in it and then see where it goes from there. And if I see that it's continuing to recover, if I see that it recovers back to like the 32, 33 price range, I'll probably put a little bit more money into it, because it does have a lot more to recover. So it was in the 45s. So if you were to go from, let's say, $26 to $45, that's $20 a share. You can make some serious profit there.
Yeah.
But we gotta wait and see. I think I like Twitter because I think it's one of those opportunistic buys right now. You just might have to be just a little bit more patient. I can see Twitter being a good buy, maybe a little bit towards the end of this week. Maybe I probably not right away, like Monday, Tuesday, but maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I could definitely see it being at a good price range. So I definitely like Twitter, and I just love using Twitter. So that's just I have a little bit of emotional attachment to it. I'm trying to start using it more too. So be on the lookout for those Manuel Andrew dope tweets. So I like Twitter. I think it's something nice to look at. And the other stock I was thinking about was Dgaz. Now, Dgaz is a natural gas ETF, and basically all you need to know about these natural gas ETFs is that there's a natural gas future, and pretty much when that...
If you're using the Thinkorswim platform...
Yeah, that's one of the platforms that we use to trade. Thinkorswim. Yeah. You can also use TraderView. And definitely research a lot of these things that we're talking about, like RSI, MACD. Like, we could explain it. We could be boring the hell out of you right now. And you're like, yo, I don't even know what the hell these dudes are talking about. But if you do a little bit of research, you can start, understanding it a little bit better, and it'll start making some sense. Go ahead. What were you going to say, bro?
So with the Thinkorswim platform, that's basically a platform that we use to analyze stocks. And I was just going to say that, this is a very, very good platform to, go ahead and analyze these stocks.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
So pretty much what I was getting at is natural gas. With natural gas, if you do like / natural gas, you could just see like natural gas and see how that's doing in general, and based off of the success or the wherever that chart and pattern is telling you, it directly correlates with Dgaz and then the inverse ETF, which is Ugaz. So when you see that natural gas / NG is going down, that's a good indicator that Dgaz is actually going to start trending up.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what's happened. So if you look at natural gas right now, it's trending down. It's like free falling, and Dgaz is starting to pick up some traction. So I like Dgaz because this is something that I've traded before, something that I've watched, and I know Dgaz generally has a resistance at $30, and right now it's at I believe it's at 24, and that's that's $6 of profit per share that's out there.
And it's not that expensive either.
Yeah,
so
it's not that
like
expensive
$20,
to buy.
$25 a share.
Exactly. So it's something that's doable. That's another thing you guys should know too. Like, you don't need a boatload of money to start investing and learning. Like, I literally put $100 in my Robinhood account. That's the brokerage that we use.
Yeah.
And you don't even need that much money to like get going. I think it's important to just learn the art and the element of trading, and then once you start getting better at it, and and you have more money in the future, you can just become a beast. So
yeah,
that's all I gotta say about that. But I definitely like Twitter, and I definitely like Dgaz for this week and possibly next week.
All right, cool. So let me talk about the stocks that I'm currently looking at. So one of the ones that I'm looking at is actually, I have around 3. And so the first one is Netflix. And I know this one's a little bit on the expensive side, so it's $347 right now. I believe that's the price. Yeah, so $347. So this last week has been sort of a crap week for Netflix. Not really anything to do in terms of their business. They actually have something good going on with them. They hired an ex-Disney employee that was in charge of like content or social media, and this guy is apparently very good. So there's
overrated. Nah, he's probably lit.
Nah. So he's very good. And this should impact them, and it kind of didn't have really any impact this week because Netflix has a lot of issues also with tariffs, and the whole stock market has been down just because of this. But I think Netflix is one of these stocks that is a beast, and it will always be a beast. So I'll give you an example. This last week I ended up buying Netflix around 335, and I bought, I think, 2 shares around that price, and it actually went up all the way to 373. I sold 1 share at that price, locked in profits, and then with the second share I held on to it to see how much further it could go up. The issue was this stock sort of like has been going down because of all these tariffs and all the news that has been hitting the market this last week, and the price has been consistently going down. So right now it's flirting with around 345, 343, 348, around there. So it's kind of in that mid 40s, 340s range right now. But it's a good stock to look at because Netflix is consistently proving itself. It's coming out like this last earnings wasn't so good. They missed, but every earnings before that, the 2 previous earnings before that, they did really, really well. And so we're just trying to see where Netflix ends up by the end of this quarter. I can guarantee you that this is going to be a stock that you will really want to look at. And just to give you an example, I in this dip, I have so much faith that this will go back up, that I actually bought around four shares of Netflix, and I'm hoping that I make a lot more money off of this, because it is a stock that will be consistently doing good. I don't see any major issues with them in the future.
I definitely can vouch for Netflix. I think it's a booming stock. I could definitely see Netflix within the next. If I'm thinking even long term.
Yeah, this is a long term stock.
I like
this
to
is
think.
Definitely one that
I definitely like to think long term, and I can see Netflix being like $600-$700.
Yeah,
within the next few years.
Yeah. So my thing is, I trade differently. We have different styles, and for me, if I were to hold this stock for forever, I wouldn't feel comfortable because I feel like I'd be missing out. So I like to try and find those highs and sell them, and then pinpoint those lows to buy. I do it on a more constant basis than Jesus does. So with me, the second stock that I was looking at is also AMD. So AMD, after its recent earnings, it just exploded. It went from like around, I think 15 or I don't know.
AMD was around
18, 19.
It exploded even more than that. I remember when AMD was in 14s.
Yeah,
the AMD used to be in the 14s.
So around the time of earnings, it was like 15, 16, and then it exploded. It went up to $20 a day after, and then recently it's hit a high of 30 or $29.94 if you want to call it the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much 30.
So the thing about AMD is that again, this is a stock that might be affected a lot by the tariffs, so it's kind of been fluctuating a little bit, but still doing really good actually, for having all these issues and all these problems that might affect it if the tariffs are imposed onto China and all these other countries that are doing this trade agreement. But I think that AMD is definitely a stock that you should definitely consider buying. It's not that expensive. It's I believe it's $27 right now. And it's $27.38. It's a stock that will continue to do well, at least this quarter.
Yeah, I can definitely see AMD. It has the potential to go up to 35, 40 pretty soon. I think, just in my opinion, I think it will probably dip a little bit before it keeps going up. Yeah. So I know it's at 27 right now. I can definitely see it trending down to like 23, 24.
Yeah.
And then, maybe it might be a little like, what's the word?
Yeah, but that's the perfect time to buy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's perfect time to buy. That's what I'm saying. I think it's a perfect stock to buy right now. If you monitor it, you set your price point and when you want to buy it.
Yeah.
And then, go from there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then, the last stock I want to talk about is actually is NOW. This is ServiceNow. It's a company. So it's funny because I actually worked with this company, or worked implementing this service into a company that I work for, and it's a very, very, very good software. I know the ins and outs about it. I can tell you that there's a lot of companies that are looking at this software and saying, yo, we need this. We definitely want this. We need this. And it will help us out a lot. So this stock has been consistently uptrending. And if you look at the way that it's been uptrending, there's nice support and resistance clearly indicated like within the past like 180 days. It's a nice stock to look at and to trade. It has consistent low or consistent support and consistent resistance. And I think that right now, maybe not the best time to buy, but I think that once it hits, I think right now. So again, this is another stock that's been affected by the tariffs, and right now everything has fallen. It was at a high of 201 about a few days ago, before this whole tariff. I think it was last week. And then this week it actually it went down. It had like a 5%, 10% drop. I'm not sure. I think it was 5. And it dropped down to 190. So yeah, 5%. And when it dropped, you saw that was a perfect time to invest. And it actually went up $7 today. So if you would have bought like a few days ago, or when the market fell, you would have made $7 a share. That would have been perfect.
ServiceNow is definitely a company that, or piece of software that many companies use. Yeah.
Every company is using it now.
Yeah, a lot of big companies are using it. I know MLB, we use it. It's pretty dope. It's good. It's not the greatest, but it's pretty good, and it's something it's definitely catching on and it's growing a lot of steam. It is a high price stock, but it's something that I don't think is going anywhere anytime soon, and I think it's a good stock to invest in.
You trying to buy MYSZ, bro?
MYSZ? Yeah, let's talk about MYSZ. So MYSZ
is like the cheapest stock on the stock market.
If you want to take a risk, if you're feeling frisky, if you're feeling froggy and you want to leap, that's my new phrase for I don't know, for the next week or so. I was seriously gonna just drop like a G in MYSZ. It's a penny stock. It's a penny stock. It was only 70 cents when I was talking about it.
Yeah, I saw the jump. It was a nice little jump.
I told you.
I agree.
It was gonna go to $1. It went to $1.
It didn't go to $1. It went to 90 something.
It did go to $1, bro.
It went to $1 flat.
It went to $1. It was at $1.06.
That's
so
ridiculous.
If you would sometimes, I mean, I don't know if this is the best advice, but sometimes if you want to take a risk, to me it wasn't so much of a risk because I did identify the pattern with MYSZ, and I did trade it before, like a couple months, not even a long time ago.
Yeah, this was like when we first started.
Yeah, when we first started like trading.
But it was more expensive than.
Yeah, it was in the $2 or $3 range. Yeah. But pretty much MYSZ. I saw a support level at $68, $69, and then it was just
69 cents.
Yeah, 69 cents.
Let's not confuse this, bro.
Yeah, now, we talking about penny stocks. Yeah, 69 cents, 70 cents, and pretty much it was just stagnant there. It was staying there, so I was like, yo, like honestly, it's not showing any signs of like a real like downward trend, and it's been going. It will have days where it will go up to 77 cents or 78 cents, and then but every other day it will go up a little bit higher. So it was just something that I was monitoring. Yeah. So if you would have took a risk on it, you would have made some money. But now it's back down to, I think it's back in the 80 cents range. So it's just one of those stocks like penny stocks. I know a lot of you guys are like. You're like, damn.
Probably just starting.
I know a lot of people that they just want to like trade penny stocks and they want to like, you want to make money fast and you want to make like the big bucks and like you want to go for it and go all in. It's definitely doable, but it's not that easy, especially with the penny stocks and very volatile stocks like that. It's not as easy to make consistently good trades and to consistently profit off of it. So that's why we kind of shy away from penny stocks. But yeah, I mean, MYSZ is something to look at. I mean, it was something that it went up to $1, it impressed me, and it's been it was in the $2 or $3 range. So it's not something that's crazy, but...
So one thing that you could do, you know, to sort of calculate your risk whenever you're trying to, you know, invest in these stocks, there's a bunch of stock calculators out there. You can Google it. There's one that I use. It's called salecalc.com. And basically there's a stock market option. You can put in all the types of so you can put in the ticker symbol, the number of shares that you want, the amount that you want to use. You know, if you're trading on a platform like Thinkorswim, like the commission, the amount that you buy it for, the amount that you sell it for, and it'll give you the actual return on investment, how much profit you're going to make if you buy and you sell at this price. And that's a good way to, like, actually, you know, really understand what you're getting yourself into. And that's one strategy that we actually always try and do.
Yeah.
Is we know when, especially me, one thing that I've learned within the past few weeks is, like, whenever you buy a stock, before you even buy it, you have to have three things. First, you have to have the price, your entry point, what you're going to buy it at. Second, you need to have what you're going to sell it at. And third, you need to have your stop loss. If you have those three things, then you know you're perfect. You will, because if, let's say you go in and you buy a stock at a random price, right? You don't know when that stock is going to go up. You don't know when it's going to go down. If you don't plan this, there's no way that you're going to make any profit.
Yeah, you're like running around with no head.
Yeah, exactly. You're just being dumb.
It's pretty much just gambling at that point.
Exactly. You know? Yeah. What we do is not anything close to gambling. We're strategically looking at patterns and we're analyzing, you know, what it is that we want and what it is when we're going to sell it, when we're going to buy it. And if we have to sell it for a loss, we calculate a specific percentage or a specific amount that we believe is an acceptable amount to lose for this stock. Some people do like percentages, like they do like 1%, 2%, 3%, 10%. I don't really do that. I just kind of wing it. I kind of say, okay, well, if this stock is at this price, its last resistance or its last support was here, maybe I'm willing to lose, like, you know, a little bit more. But that's sort of like the way I do it. But yeah, so those are the three stocks I wanted to talk about. Again, watch out this next week for the market issues. Trump and all these news that's happening with, like, China.
That boy Trump.
And what is it, Canada? Canada is also in this trade war that's going on. So just watch out for all of those things that are happening, and stay focused. Try and, like, you know.
Stay definitely, especially since the market is so volatile right now. Definitely, like, sit down and plan out your entry points, the trades that you want to make, the things you want to go into. Like, I know for at least the past week I've been very a lot more cautious, and I've kind of been trying to feel out the market a little bit before just throwing my money into certain things, because it has been pretty volatile.
You can't be listening to those conspiracy theories, bro.
So, my boy, see, now you had to bring up conspiracy theories. You got to get me all riled up, bro.
Yeah.
So now,
this is the perfect way to end the show, man.
We got to talk about. First of all, it's 9/11 season coming up, bro. So we're probably not gonna have a podcast, another podcast before 9/11. So, it is the 17-year anniversary of 9/11. Rest in peace to, the 2,000 plus people and all the people who died after that.
First responders, all those people that sacrificed their lives, just to try and save the thousands of people that were in harm's way at that point. And it's a tragedy for America, but
Yeah, so the reason you bringing up conspiracy theories, I'm talking about my boy Alex Jones, and I know everybody hates this man, but
yo, that dude got blocked off of Twitter, bro.
But
he got blocked off of everything,
bro. But here's the thing. This man literally talks about, you know, a whole bunch of things, and I don't necessarily agree with everything he has to say.
Yeah.
But he's been talking about it for years, about censorship, and how like all these big companies and how like the United States is trying to censor like our voice, like even us, like even talking about this, or even us like having this podcast, you know, there's been a lot of movements to censor information and alter what, you know, free knowledge, free speech and free education, or you know, being able to have a source of news that you want to like go to.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean,
so my thing is, go ahead.
My thing is that he might be out there, he's a little crazy, but the fact that he got censored and he got banned off of all these platforms, it just proves his point that, hey, like, you know, there is censorship that's happening. If you have a voice, if you have something to say, it will be shut down, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree that it was a bad move on Twitter's end to censor him, and a lot of these other platforms to censor him being able to, you know, communicate this media. That's, I mean, you know, the problem that I see is more of a problem that we're all facing, and this is a problem. Right now in media, you know, there's so many different news sources out there that you can get your information from, you can listen to, and it's becoming like a huge cloud of information, right? And we have no idea like what's true, what's false. And I think
news.
Yeah, exactly. There's fake news everywhere, even on like the channels that you watch, like ABC, CBS. This is like just it's becoming so bad that like you don't know what's real.
Yeah, you don't know what's real, what's not.
And not just that. A lot of the times it's all done for show. Like it's like you don't know if the news that you're hearing is like news that's being, you know, done for just views or just for attention,
a lot of it is
or if it's actually factual, if it's something that's like, you know, going to be done. And I feel like our generation is starting to notice this like a lot, and you know, we're starting to pick up on these clues and these things, and we're just like, yo, this is crazy. We're not taking it. But it's just a crazy world we live in right now.
A lot of fabricated stories, a lot of BS. I mean, my thing is, the reason why it kind of like it bothers me is that I feel like, it is a big deal. Like he had over a million like views and followers on all these social media outlets, and it just proves that, yo, like if they want, like at the end of the day, you just flip a switch, like, you know, snap their fingers, and you could be taken off of everything. You know what I mean? And I think I have a little soft spot in my heart for Alex Jones for the sole fact that, you know, when I was younger, I used to be afraid to watch like 9/11 videos.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I used to, like, when that happened, it was like, you know, I went through it, I lived through it. Like, I seen, you know, both buildings collapse through my grandma's like window. You know what I mean? And that was crazy. And like, I remember I would watch, my dad, he would always make me watch like those documentaries on the History Channel, and I always used to be frightened. Like, I would see the planes fly into the building. It would just like remind me of that day, and I was like terrified to like try to relive it. And then when I got a little older, like a couple years after, like, yo, I'm gonna stop being like a little kid. I'm gonna be like, yo, like I need to like, you know, take this in, try to firmly understand like what's going on. You know what I mean? And I think like for me, I'm not gonna just completely say like, yo, it was an inside job, whatever. Like, my opinion is that the U.S. had some sort of involvement with it. I'm not gonna say that they planned it out or whatever, but they did have foreseen knowledge of it happening, and it could be that it wasn't like all the U.S., but it could just be that they had the knowledge and they let it happen. You know what I mean? But Alex Jones, like, if you watch another, like, for me, how I got exposed to it, which is I would watch you know, I got to that age, I was like, nah, I'm gonna learn more about this. Like, I'm gonna watch these videos, and like, you know, if you stumble upon enough videos, you're gonna come across like some conspiracy videos. You're gonna come across like Alex Jones crazy, like yelling and trying to go Super Saiyan and tell you how like 9/11 was an inside job and all this other stuff. And a lot of that, like, it awoke in me. And it at least woke up my third eye to like begin to question things, or question the official story. And I thank him for that, because before that, like, I would just blindly accept and listen to whatever I would hear in the news or whatever was told to me. And now it kind of like, when any little thing that happens, like even any little thing that happened in my life, you know, it awakens me to just be like, yo, let me think about this side of it, or let me actually question why this happened or why this is happening. So I thank him for that. And it's just, I don't know, it's just crazy to me how, you know, he's just they just pretty much like said delete. Matt Hardy deleted him off of the internet. You know, so that's just crazy to me, man.
Yeah, so I think that's like something that, you know, we're gonna have to, you know, struggle with, like, for the next few years.
Freedom of speech. Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the boy right now, man. I'm over my Nikes every day now, man.
Yo, the thing that pisses me off is that there's all these people that are like burning their Nike shoes.
It's so stupid.
Doing all this stuff. You could. Hey, if you got a problem with Nike, you got a problem with that. Why don't you go ahead and just donate your Nikes? You don't have to completely destroy them and burn them.
Yeah. It's people out. I don't know. From my opinion, I don't want to offend anybody, but like, you know, it's funny because I actually saw a video of, you know, the actual person that told Colin Kaepernick to take a knee was a veteran. It was literally a veteran, and yeah. So, and it's crazy how, like, people, you know, say it was Colin Kaepernick, but, you know, his initial idea was actually he was going to sit down. And I think the first time he actually did sit down, or the first few times he sat down through the national anthem. He didn't, like, stand up or anything. And he actually met with a particular veteran, and this veteran gave him an idea, you know, because you kneel down for fallen soldiers, you kneel down for people that have died and for people that have you know, gone through and served in the military. And so he told them, hey, why don't you kneel instead of, you know, sitting down? And they expressed both of their opinions. So Colin Kaepernick, again, was kneeling down because of people that were being mistreated, or he felt were being mistreated and being abused by
police brutality,
inequalities, and exactly
in our culture and things like that.
Yeah, and the problem is you know,
I mean, it all ties into the whole freedom of speech thing. You know what I mean? So I mean, Colin Kaepernick, like, he has the right to his freedom of speech. Alex Jones has his right to freedom of speech. Exactly. I have my right to freedom of speech.
And it's crazy how all of us, it's being persecuted. Like, at this point, you know, what was it? The NFL tried to kick Colin Kaepernick out. I
mean, Colin Kaepernick's pretty much, it's not official, but he's pretty much done in the NFL. Yeah. Like, no team wants to give him an opportunity.
Yeah.
They just see him as like a giant headache at this point.
Yeah.
And they just, you know, whatever your political views are or whatever, it's just kind of like...
And then the entire NFL tried to put that
I mean, they try to enforce something that you have to stand for.
You have to stand either that, or you could stay inside the locker room and you won't get punished for it. Yeah. But I think either way, it's sort of ridiculous that you can't enforce your opinion. I get the level of disrespect that it can be looked at, you know, for the American flag and the American values. But I think as a country, we all need to start opening up that table and, you know, putting the conversation on that table and saying, look, this is our view, this is our opinion, we need to fix what's going on. And I think there was a music video a while back, I don't remember who made it, but it was like some guy who was like black and then some other guy who was white, and they were like sitting at a table, I don't know. It was.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Is it Royce Joyner, something like that?
Something like that.
Lucas Joyner.
Yeah. And
I totally butchered the dude's name, but I know what you're talking about.
That guy, that was a cool video, man. And at the end,
I'm not a racist. Something
I'm not a racist. Yeah, that was a cool video. At the end of it, I loved how they just sat down and they hugged it out. They said, "Look, this is what I go through. This is what I see. This is my opinion. This is what's going on in our society." And at the end of the day, they embraced each side, you know. Yeah. And the other guy was like, I feel the same about you. I see this, I see that. And I struggle and I fight. And you know, at the end of the day, they sat down and they fixed it. And that's a perfect example of what we need to do as a country. Yeah. Instead of censoring people, instead of, you know, talking all this crap, we need to sit down and actually fix it. And that's the conversation that could take years, it could take forever, but then before we make our next move and start, you know, only putting certain things out online and censoring people and doing all this stuff, you know, we need to make a decision and just, you know, sit down and have the conversation. So
that's a fact, B.
Yeah, word. Facts.
My boy Chicklet.
Yeah. I love that t-shirt, bro.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think Kaepernick as a football player, he's pretty trash, bro. Yeah, he's okay. That's how I feel about that.
I think his mind just isn't in the game right now, bro. I mean, he's all about fixing this issue, and he's not really paying attention to what, you know.
I mean, I think his football career is done.
Yeah.
I don't think he was all that in the first place. He kind of peaked during that Super Bowl that they went to. But I have to thank him, and I have to thank Nike for, you know, standing for something, and also for giving us some dope-ass memes.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, these memes these past couple of weeks have been litty lit.
Yo, they've been so funny. Like,
it's been dope. But, yeah, man, I think that's pretty much it. You got anything else you want to say?
Nah, man, we good. We out.
We outie. A&J Podcast coming out next week or whenever we do it. We gotta be consistent with it.
Yeah.
All right, man. So
look out for the next one.
Look out for the next one. We might be doing a video podcast.
Soon.
We might switch it up to see. I can see our faces.
We need to upgrade our equipment step by step. You know.
Step it up.
Once we get that stock money, then we buy a camera.
Exactly. So.
Yeah.
So it's lit.
So we out here. We out.
We outie. Peace.